Show. How are you doing tonight? Yeah. How are you doing tonight? Yeah. That is what I love to hear. Welcome to the new Super Wonder Gallery here in Bloor West Village. I'm so happy to see all of you. And welcome to the first inaugural taping of the Planet Lizzdom Show. Are you guys ready? All right. Well, I am very honored to tell you that our first guest this evening is the founder of the Great Lakes Horror Company. He is a published author and editor and the proprietor of the the Horror Library at the Mooncraft Market in Hamilton. Everyone, please give a very warm round of applause to Andrew Robertson. All right. Oh my goodness, look at these boots. You look incredible.
Thank you.
So, welcome to the show. How are you doing?
I'm great. I'm so excited to be here. I love that everything that you've worked on has evolved to having a live studio audience and an art gallery for a talk show. I think that's really exciting. There's something retro and something very futuristic about it. So congratulations on that.
Thank you very, very much. For those of you who may not know, Planet Lizzdom actually started as a podcast about 3 years ago during the pandemic. And Andrew was one of my guests during then. And it has now become the Planet Lizzdom Show with a live studio audience. I am so happy to have you guys here. Oh my God. Now, the Great Lakes Horror Company, for those of you who don't know, is one of my favorite publishing houses. Please tell us more about the origins of that.
Well, I joined the Horror Writers Association some years ago, and I met Sephra Giron, who's in the audience tonight. And what we found was in terms of, yes, thank you.
Yes, Seth. Hi, Seth.
Sephra's like Canada's mother horror. And we found that with small presses, there's an ebb and flow, and so some people would be published, but a year later the publisher may not be there. So we would go to events, and we felt that we needed something sort of like regular that represented everyone that was a part of the organization in the Ontario chapter. So we started creating anthologies, and we did that under the banner of the Great Lakes Horror Company. And we've done 3 anthologies now. One collection, which is here, Dearly Departed, which is a dual author collection with Sephra Giron and myself. And we just wanted it to be a voice for Canadian horror, which, I mean, we're a relatively small population as well compared to America, so there's a lot more opportunities and ease of business in America, especially with shipping fees. But
do tell.
it's the worst, right? So you want something specifically Canadian, but we also have a mission now. Over the past 2 years, we decided that we would focus the mission of the Great Lakes Horror Company on representing diverse voices. So we're looking at BIPOC, typically marginalized communities, LGBTQ, underrepresented voices, because horror really is one of the queerest genres for a variety of reasons. And we think that our press should represent that because that's where the stories are coming from.
Thank you so much for that. I couldn't agree with that more. It feels like it's about time. We'll put it that way. I do want to talk about Dearly Departed in a moment, but I wanted to ask you, in really stepping into this world of BIPOC horror writing, have there been any really sublime surprises that have occurred?
I think that when you're looking at horror created by marginalized people, so whether it's queer or people of color or people that are marginalized through remoteness or religion or culture, you don't realize how many forebears you have. Like, for example, I'm going to give you a for instance. So your for instance is that Bram Stoker, the author of Dracula, had a relationship with Oscar Wilde. He did not stand up for him when it came time to the trial, but they were queer together. And in Dracula, it's very clear that Dracula wants Jonathan Harker. He's mine. He won't let the brides have him. F.W. Murnau, who directed Nosferatu, was queer. Jonathan Whale, who directed Frankenstein, was queer. And Frankenstein is very clearly the tale of an outsider that people didn't understand, that they would rather be in the shadows. And that's the tale of marginalized people. And so I think that, especially now, part of my decision to dress this way today was to support my non-binary, trans, and gender fluid individuals, because I feel I do have, thank you. I love gender fluidity, but I go in and out of it. And I'm not suggesting that what I'm wearing or how I'm presenting today is some kind of infallible political act. But coming from the genre that I'm in, I felt it only right to be a little extra, to remind people that
always be extra.
as much as we may be entertained by horror by reading it or viewing it or participating in something that frightens us, but we need to remember that people's real lives, their real stories, aren't products necessarily, and that a lot of the culture that you've consumed is a lot queerer than you think. So if you think for a minute that queer and trans and non-binary people should stop shoving things down your throats. My feeling is, and this is why I brought the fan, is that if you're worried about them shoving it down your throat, it's probably because you want it shoved down your throat and you can't handle it. So that's that.
Well said.
She's saucy today.
You're not allowed to be saucier than me. I'm kidding. Now, in that vein, in that that line of thought, I know you do a lot of conventions where you're selling your work and talking to a lot of people in the public. Do you ever find that or feel like there's some sort of responsibility on your part for the doors that you're opening?
I think that you should never speak for a community that you're not a part of, that you should always have someone who's representative of that community. If you feel that you need to support them, they should be at the table. So last year at Frightmare in the Falls, which is an incredible event, we do it every year, me and Sephra, as part of the Great Lakes Horror Company. It's a great event.
Oh, I encourage you, go, it's amazing.
Last year I had the privilege of being on a panel with W.H. Vigo, who,
that's right.
so good. And
Tell me more.
Vigo is Jamaican, and will speak to people first horror, because that is what they write. And I would never venture into territory of someone else's culture or belief system or anything like that. I think you should really write about what you know and what you're a part of, and appreciate what other people are about. I don't think as a white queer male writer, I should be writing about Jamaican mythology or spiritualism, but to have them on board offers the opportunity to talk about that and discover it. And it was a really exciting conversation, and we're working on a cookbook right now together, where Vigo looks at cultures of the world and horror, horror in every aspect of the globe. So I'm looking at blood-based recipes and the history of the blood-based recipes, and Vigo is going to be doing the blood-sucking monster that's relative to that country as a part of this cookbook.
Oh, wow.
So it's kind of exciting. But yeah, I think within the horror community, definitely expand your horizons by conversing with people and getting to know them, but don't co-opt anything that they do. If you want to...
Great words of wisdom.
Yeah, if you want to know more about a community, then ask and have them participate. But I'm very much a subscriber of nothing about us without us. Don't speak for a community you're not a part of, and don't become an opportunist based on that. Bring them in. And if you want to publish a book about Jamaican ghost stories, then find a Jamaican to write that book.
Now, having the Great Lakes Horror Company and having such a wonderful circle of writers around you, have you ever found yourself a little starstruck around some of them? Because, it does happen to us sometimes.
I'm starstruck right now.
He's talking about you.
You and you. I see Bobby and Jody and...
But truly, I mean, especially when you are going to these conventions and you're, hosting all these wonderful events, do you ever find yourself a little tongue-tied around some of these wonderful writers?
100%. Again, harkening back to my relationship with Sephora Giron, we did Fan Expo years ago, and I got to be the moderator for a panel with Kelly Armstrong. And Kelly Armstrong, any of you that know her, has the same number of shelves as Stephen King at the Indigo. Like, she's books and books and books and books and series and movies and the whole deal. And it was exciting to have access to a writer like that and ask questions on the same panel as like up and comers and really, really independent people. Because I think you do need that balance, and I think that you need that sort of intergenerational knowledge transfer, like not intergenerational maybe, but like people at different points in their career, and having that transfer of knowledge. And being part of the horror community has exposed me to a lot of different people. And actually, speaking of starstruck, there was one occasion where I was at the Royal for a presentation of Black Christmas, and I had the honor of...
I knew it was gonna come up. Come on.
It's one of my favorite photos of Lynn.
Yep.
Strangling me with my scarf.
I mean, you have to print that out and frame it.
At a presentation of Black Christmas. So I think, writers writing, whether it's film or plays or novels, etc. I find the horror community in itself is like really accepting and welcoming, and it's a community that will help. I mean, there's problems like in every community, but it's been really exciting. So Starstruck, Lynn, Sephora, Liz. Yeah, it's exciting though. I think when you put yourself out there and you push yourself, the way that I think historically I've seen you do over the years that we've been friends, it's a really exciting thing, and you can find a community that supports you. And you can be starstruck by someone you just met that you've never even heard of in your entire life, just based on a conversation. And I think that's the most exciting thing. So I encourage everyone to put down their phones, read a bit more, obviously, and to have a conversation with someone you don't know, because you don't know what's going to happen.
That's true. Now, you've brought up a very good point. When you are pushing yourself outside of your comfort zone, and I love to check with every artist about this, because I think everyone has their litmus test or their line of, I forget what the word is, that you should be doing it. When you are pushing yourself out of the comfort zone, how do you know it's the right push for you?
So I'll take this question in terms of my writing. So the majority of what I write is body horror. I don't know why. Some people write ghost stories, and some people are like, the house was haunted, and I'm like, the boil had a fang in it. And there's just something about that like freaks me the fuck out. I don't know if we're allowed to swear. I think it's the internet, so you're allowed to do whatever.
You're talking about a teratoma.
But yeah.
Google it.
I'm
not sorry.
I love a body horror, and I write about a lot of disgusting things. Not all of it. Not all of it. It's not all like, and then he exploded from bloating or like whatever the hell. I don't know. Like, you can read the book. One of the stories is called Hamburger Lady, and if you know this song by Throbbing Gristle, then don't be surprised. Like, she's a hamburger lady. Okay. But I feel like if I get creeped out by it and I feel sick writing it, and I'm writing it and I'm like, what's wrong with me? Which actually one of my beta readers will be like, who hurt you? Like, what is this?
So is that kind of like the buzzword of I'm on the right track?
Yeah, I kind of feel like that means that it's good, and maybe don't push too much further than what makes you uncomfortable.
Okay.
But like, it's definitely the right track.
Now, how do you know when to stop? I know as an artist for myself, the instant I put my signature on my work, I'm done. There's no going back to fix anything. What is your signature moment to finish?
I feel like when I'm writing a short story, because I write exclusively short stories. I'm working on a novel length right now, but I prefer the short story form for a variety of reasons. I feel like there's always like a sassy moment at the end where I like villains a lot. And I feel like when the villain has won or, something like that, where they can be like, and that's that, like that kind of, that's the feeling. Like when it almost becomes so like doomy at the end, like there's no hope for the character, I'm like, that's it.
Nice.
You're done.
Have you ever had a reader come up to you upset because they felt left in the lurch or they didn't feel completed by the story, or, maybe they wanted a different ending for the character? Because pathos is a real thing. People really care. They do.
No, I think more than anything, people were like, she deserved it. Or, or like, I had one person that was like that it was the boil and the fang thing. They were like, that was disgusting. I hate you. I don't want to read any more of your books. And I was like, don't read them. Just buy them.
Now, speaking of books, I want to talk about Dearly Departed. Starting with the cover, I am a huge fan of grotesque art and art that really disturbs me. Maybe it's because I'm half French and possibly a little bit Belgian, but the artist from who did the cover work is from Belgium, if I'm correct.
Yes.
Mothmeister.
Yes.
And I mean, again, Google, it's wonderful work. It will distribute in the best way. How did you get connected with Mothmeister for this cover? It's incredible.
So I've followed Mothmeister for a long time online, and there's certain artists that I think just have a mood, like Handsome Devil Puppets. If you have a chance, Handsome Devil Puppets, they make marionettes of celebrities and characters, and they're gorgeous. And through them, I saw someone following Mothmeister, and I started following Mothmeister. And what they do, it's an art duo from Belgium. You'll never see them because they feel that it would ruin the mystery, which I think is really important. I think a lot of mystery is healthy. Mm-hmm. And they collect or borrow masks from artists around the world and taxidermy. And all of the photography that they do, a lot of it is in Iceland. So they fly from Belgium to Iceland. Oh. They take photos on these great, beautiful vistas, these backdrops of like just like barren, right? And for example, the cover of this one, you've got the mask, which doesn't even have eyes. The eyes are closed. And she's holding a jackalope taxidermy. And a lot of the, I know who that is. And it's just gorgeous. Like, I love taxidermy. I love masks. Mm-hmm. I love that sort of the sort of death and decay and the how the mask obscures things. And they completely cover themselves in costumes and furs and everything, and it's all it's magical. And so I contacted them, and I said, we're doing this collection, and we were thinking about covers, but I just couldn't get them out of my head. And historically, because it's all like masks and sort of like doomy and dark, and they do this art market in Northern Europe as well. Historically, a lot of their work has been used for like metal albums. And I was like, would you like to do a book? So literary. So they were happy to work with us. And everyone that's here today, you've got a package on your chair that includes stickers that have Mothmeister's art on them. You can follow them online, Mothmeister on Instagram and Official Mothmeister on Facebook. But they've been incredible to work with. And their work is absolutely gorgeous. It's just the kind of stuff that you can look at and fall into and create stories on your own, which I think is great art.
I'm happy to hear that. You'll have to forgive me, guys. I still have LA smog in my lungs.
She's a jet set kind of a girl.
Yeah, I just flew in from LA on Tuesday. But no, seriously, I feel like I smoked a pack and a half of cigarettes last night, and I haven't smoked since 2004. What the heck, man? We will be showing a cover of Dearly Departed on the actual show when we upload it to YouTube. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on it. Here's my plug. I'm so impressed by this compilation. Again, I'm an origin story kind of girl. What brought Dearly Departed about?
It had kind of, like, over the pandemic, it had been a while since I'd done a lot of stuff. And life gets in the way. like for all creative people, like everyone that's creative in the audience and yourself and myself, like the pandemic was a weird time. It like for me, it was hard to write. And also a lot of the stuff that I had that was coming out to be published was stalled for like one of the stories in here. The last story in Dearly Departed took 4.5 years to come out because of a variety of reasons. And this Dearly Departed is a collection of work that's being published in other places. So Saffron and I decided to collect it, and for some of those reasons, like presses disappear or they don't push the anthology or it doesn't get the reach that you want. So what we decided was that we were going to do our gravest hits in like a little tribute to the Cramps. And we took our favorite stories and put them in a collection because we felt like more people needed to know about them than did. But also because, sometimes repackaging something actually makes it more accessible or more something. I don't know. But yeah, we just wanted something new, and it had been a while waiting for things to come out. And actually, one of the stories that's in there that's listed as previously published in XYZ actually didn't come out until 4 months after this came out.
Oh, wow.
Because I was just waiting forever. And it's my favorite story that I've ever written. It's called Sick as a New Black, which is a fierce title. I know, you don't need to tell me. And and I was just like, you know what? Like, let's just do it ourselves. And that's the whole mentality of the Great Lakes Horror Company. And Sapphire's been a great partner on it because a lot of it is like, let's do it ourselves. Let's get it out there. Let's not wait for other people. They're well-meaning, but things happen. Presses go under, editors take their time, whatever the case may be. So we wanted something new. We wanted a new collection of our favorite things, basically. And so we took our favorite things and we put them in this book.
That's incredible. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
How can folks find a way to order this book for themselves?
It's available on Amazon, which, is problematic, I understand, but like that's how you do it, right? And also, if you're in the Hamilton area, you can pick it up at the Great Lakes Horror Company Haunted Library at Mooncraft Market, which is reopening on June 1st in a new location on James Street North, which is huge, beautiful, exciting. We've got a great spot in there with all of our creepy stuff. But yeah, if you order it on Amazon, please leave a review. And anything you order on Amazon from an author, leave a review, because that's like the most valuable thing you can do for an independent press.
Amazing. Andrew, I want to thank you so much for being a part of our show today. I actually have to wrap it up. My boss, Jesse, the content engineer, is telling me it's time to go. It goes by so quickly. Thank you so much. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
If you want to see our little show grow, you can actually become a patron at my Patreon, which I'll have online. And if you want to do a one-time tip, you can also go to PayPal me, because it does help pay for all this amazing space and talent that I've got helping me out today. Guys, stick around. We are going to have another episode coming up soon. And as always, tune in, turn on, and take part, because you truly never know just who's going to land right here on Planet Lizzdom.